Item number 1, number 5055.
Chairman McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 5055 by myself would require driver instruction courses and tests to include instruction and information on a driver's responsible conduct during a traffic stop. Mr. Speaker, it's supported by the NEA, Colonel McCartney, the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association, Rhode Island State Police, AAA, Chief Magistrate Guglietta of the Traffic Court. I believe it will help motorists understand their responsibility and provide a safer environment for the law enforcement community. I move passage.
Chairman McNamara moves passage. That is seconded by Representative McLaughlin, Representative Aena, Representative Johnston, Representative Casemiro, Representative Canario. Representative Lombardi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, at the appropriate time, Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment, please.
It's the appropriate time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is item LC 000262-2.
Representative Lombardi moves Amendment LC 000262/2. That is seconded by Representative Hull, Representative Walsh, Representative Almea. Proceed, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move entitled An Act Relating to Motor and Other Vehicles Driver Education Requirements as follows. On page 2, Mr. Speaker, line 16, by inserting after the language drivers, the language rights and on page 2, line 17, by inserting after the language costs, the language including, strike that, including rights provided drivers pursuant to chapters 21.2 of Title 31.
Thank you, Representative. Do you have any further explanation?
Yes, if I may, Mr. Speaker. Over the past few years, we've all read about the tragedies that have occurred across the country in recent years, especially within the black community, with regard to routine stops. Providing new drivers with information about how they should conduct themselves during such an encounter with law enforcement, I believe, is very important and also very timely. However, just as important, Mr. Speaker, that drivers be given information about their rights during any routine stop. Interaction during stops works two ways, and drivers' education course should teach not only what is expected of them, but what can be expected when a police officer stops them. This idea underlies the Comprehensive Police Relationship Act that this General Assembly passed 2 years ago. Drivers will then be equipped with the knowledge they need to dutifully exercise both their responsibilities and their rights during the routine encounter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think this is a very important, it's just a matter of changing a couple of words, but I think it's so important, it's so timely with what's happening around this country and around the world, and I think that something like this will certainly assist those most in need, especially those in the poorer communities and those in minority communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Representative Lombardi is correct. Rights and responsibilities are very important. This was an ACLU-suggested amendment. We looked at it. We debated whether or not it should be included. We looked at the curriculum. This is a copy of the driver's manual relating to this specific topic, what your conduct should be when you are stopped by a police officer and what the laws are. For example, in the driver's manual, section 12, if asked to sign a citation, do so. It is not an admission of guilt, solely an acknowledgement that you have received the citation. They cover all of the laws relating to a stop. Moreover, the ACLU and the other groups that have signed on to this amendment, I have told both of them, you are doing the students a disservice in this way. If you want a complete understanding of a student's civil and constitutional rights, let's do it and do it right, adding a chapter to the driver education course. Do not insert a sentence and think that all of these laws will be covered. So I said, I would be willing to work with you on this, and if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Moreover, nationally, Representative Lombardi is right. States are leading the issue on this particular issue. Last year, AAA and national safety leaders developed suggested protocols for teaching how to conduct, how students should react when stopped. Why? They want to protect students. And the thing that I love about this outline, Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen, I did the math the other day. I've witnessed 7,000 urban dismissals at the secondary level. During that time, I've seen it all, including one of this time of year with my students every year for several weeks. I would mention one thing. Please, please be careful whose car you step into and who steps into your car. With this new protocol outline, they address passengers and the importance of you as the driver knowing who's in your car, what they're carrying, and moreover, how they are going to behave and what they should do when you are stopped. And just to highlight the need for this, according to Chief Magistrate Guglietta, last year 120 citations were issued by police officers in Rhode Island for individuals that didn't know that they had to turn on their interior light. It's been a law for many years. So although the amendment is well intended, I say let's do it right, do it the right way, and do justice to the students in those classes and not think that one word inserted is going to cover the material and do the job that we wanted to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I have clarification from the sponsor of the amendment with regards to line 5?
If he will yield, Representative Lombardi, will you yield?
I will, Mr. Speaker, but I was not talking about line 5, so I'm not sure what... mine address line 2, page 2, line 16, page 2, line 17.
Okay, but there's... I would like...
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. Okay. My mistake. I apologize.
Say it again.
That'll be the last time you ever hear it, I can tell you that much.
That's all right.
That'll be the last time.
That's all right.
Trust me on this.
That's all right.
Trust me on this.
All right, folks.
Had one, though. It was publicly heard.
It's okay.
Representative Lombardi, do you understand Representative Williams' question?
Now I do. I'm sorry. I was looking... you got to forgive me, Mr. Speaker. I was reading the statute itself. That's right.
Okay. Proceed.
Okay. This language was provided by the ACLU and members of the community, and what it does, it talks about the rights that are provided to them by that particular section that was cited, Mr. Speaker.
That wasn't my question. I wanted to know what the chapter 21.2 of Title 31, what is the language for that? I don't know what that is.
I don't have it in front of me, Mr. Speaker, but I think you can look it up.
All right. Representative Lombardi indicates he doesn't have the language handy. Can someone try to... All right. Can someone...
It's what?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was what I referred to.
Cities?
It was what I had referred to, the Community Comprehensive Police Act.
Okay, someone said it's about racial profiling and driving while black, so it's a mixture of the two, so that's fine. I just wanted to be able to know exactly what those, the chapters was, what it meant, what it was referring to. Thank you.
Yeah.
But in addition, I rise in support of this amendment. Education is key. Representative McNamara said, add a chapter. They discussed and they said add a chapter. That may be all well and good, and yeah, why not add a chapter? What harm would it be if in fact Representative McNamara would say, go ahead, let's add that chapter to this piece of legislation. It's just a matter of the language, and I'm sure he has that language or could have it done immediately so that the bill can come back on the floor, go through committee and come back on the floor. It's a request. Why wait till the next time? Or why not vote on this amendment as it's being requested? At least it will start the conversation now as far as the educational process during driver's training. Next year, if you choose, you can come back and add that chapter. But it's doing no harm to add it in. There's no harm at all. At least they can start it. They can start the process. You talk about let's do it right. This is a start to do it right. If you want to add a chapter, you can also do that. There's no reason why it can't be done or it shouldn't be done. But this amendment at least starts. And if you're thinking about those individuals who are going to be taking this training, taking the test or the driver's educational requirements, then you would think about their best interest and do it right. As it was mentioned, this will affect a lot of individuals in the poor communities and the communities of color. There's absolutely no reason for this amendment not to pass on the floor. There's a choice that we have, and we should certainly work on them, vote on this amendment. Thank you.
Representative Ucci.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I've listened to the arguments here on the floor, and while all of them are valid, the bill before us takes on a completely different issue, and I would move this time that this amendment is not germane.
One moment, please, Representative. You are correct, Representative. It's not germane to this bill. This bill requests that individuals are notified of what to do when a police officer stops you. The amendment deals with informing, educating people on their rights relative to their interaction with the police. They are two distinct issues. They should be two distinct bills. I'm going to rule it non-germane. Representative, what is your point of order?
Representative Ucci's point in the comprehensive, you can call it whatever they want, it's driving while black. but on the street, there's two classes, Mr. Speaker. There's one in the squared circle of a class. The other class that's being taught is on the street. What Representative Lombardi is asking for is that the officer on the scene simply tells the young man or woman their rights, just like as if you were getting arrested. We talk about this building being the house of the people. With respect to my good brother over here, it is germane because that's what we care about, especially in the community of color. So I don't see how, where I haven't even been given the chance to speak, when I have 5 different organizations that the good Representative McNamara did not mention.
If I may, Representative, thank you for your enthusiasm for the issue, and it's an important topic, so I absolutely respect your enthusiasm. They're distinct issues, though, and they're distinct subject matters, and let me see if I can explain. One tells you mechanically what to do as a motorist when you're stopped by the police officer. The other one is to educate you on constitutional rights, or rights that you have as a citizen. They're absolute, even though they both involve a stop, they're distinct issues. Now, that's an issue that we can take up, and it sounds like it has merit, but it's an entirely distinct issues. You can't mix and match issues on a bill like this. A different subject matter, even though I can see that they're somewhat related because they both deal with police stops.
You know, Mr. Speaker, again, with great respect, if the National Black Police Association has said the issue on this numerous times, all of a sudden now we're separate. I understand Representative Corvese is about to go with this, but this is wrong. Every time a comprehensive bill comes up here, this House, this Senate always seems to tear it apart pieces for the people of color.
You're arguing the merits, Representative, and I respect that, but we're on a point of order. What's your point of order, Chairman Corvese?
With all due respect, now that as Chairman of the Rules, now that the Speaker has, the parliamentarian has made a decision and the Speaker has decided it, the discussion ends on that amendment. With all due respect. Not saying your discussion is not worthy of merit, it just doesn't have a place right now. I'm sure it will in the future, Joe, when a bill like this comes up. I'm just telling you what I believe the rules are.
Fully, but you know what? There's been many leaders that have broken rules.
Representative, hold on, please. Hold on, please. We recognize one person at a time. Everybody gets their say. Chairman Corvese is correct, Representative. I appreciate your enthusiasm, and there's merit in your argument, but you're arguing an issue that's not before us. That's the point of order. Not that your position doesn't have merit, but it's not before us on this particular bill. I understand, and I respect that. Now, these issues are non-debatable, so we're not. Does anyone challenge the ruling of the chair? All right. Representative Lombardi challenges the ruling of the chair, so we will have a vote on that. Vote green if you support the ruling of the chair. If you disagree with the ruling of the chair, vote red. Clerk, unlock the machine. Has everybody in their seat voted? Clerk, lock the machine. 55 in favor, 14 opposed. The ruling of the chair is sustained. Back on the act. Representative Lombardi. Okay. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I respectfully understand and I've learned the difference, and I agree with regards to the merit. One thing doesn't have to do with the other. But what I would ask my colleague, who is very passionate about his bill passing today, if in fact he is about doing it right on behalf of those that will benefit from this driver's education, whether they're black, green, brown, or yellow, if you would in fact hold that bill, hold your bill today, and let's get the language, and it certainly will super speed come back on this floor, because it's only going to be with the correct language, and we will do it right, and we'll do it all together. Could you be so kind and cooperative to do that for the people of the state of Rhode Island? I saw your head, Mr. Speaker.
You are correct, Representative. They're two separate issues. I suggest that it's late in the session to take on a brand new issue, but if you want to address it, someone get a bill in and we'll take a look at it as quickly as possible.
But my question is to the sponsor of the bill, if not a question to you as a speaker to do this. That's why I said I saw your head. I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I'm trying to say what?
I don't believe you're being difficult.
But I'm saying this is something that's going to affect an awful lot of individuals. He said he wants to do it right. There is absolutely no harm that will be brought onto his piece of legislation if, in fact, he puts in the language that will assist and make the bill even better. Remember, this is affecting a population that has been ill-treated for a long time. Let's do it right. That's all I'm asking, if he will be willing to put that bill, hold it, and fix it, and let's do it right together.
Chairman McNamara.
Thank you. Representative Williams, I told the ACLU and Jobs for Justice that this is an issue that should not be embedded in this bill. I told them I would work with them to do a statute, civil and constitutional rights of teen drivers. Let's do it, and the Speaker's right, it's towards the end of the session. Both of those groups have been told, and they asked me, would you be willing to work with us? And my answer was yes. But time is of the essence, and they're two separate issues. Putting this in to this bill and doing something very quickly does not do those students justice, and it doesn't do what you want to accomplish. So, as I said before, they know, and they asked for my commitment, and I said I will work with you, and we'll do it right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative McCannon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first is, I guess, a request of the Representative Lombardi, who's pushing the amendment, because I do have a question about the amendment.
There is no amendment before us.
All right, so that's over. So the next is an announcement, if I may, which I can, I guess, wait for later.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Lombardi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's very quickly, and sorry I didn't have the information, but the Comprehensive Community Police Relationship Act of 2015, it did several things, Mr. Speaker. It banned racial profiling, it defined law enforcement practices, and it improved and codified data collection. This is something that we need. The timeliness and the justification for this is now, and I think it just makes sense to send this bill back, and let's please incorporate what we do. I'm really asking my colleagues to please consider that. Time is of the essence. Thank you very much.
If I may, Representative, the subject matter is one that I see tremendous merit in, and there's something that's good subject matter to attack and try to do something right on. My concern for any piece of legislation that's not necessarily related, recommitting it right now to hope it comes back out at this late stage might be the death nail of that piece of legislation. So that would be unfair to the one that's before us because we want to work on a separate issue. I I hope that everybody out there that indicates they're going to work on this issue does work on it, because I think it's meritorious, and I think this House can do some good work in that area. So, you know, I hope you do it, and I'm available to work with all of you on the issue. But we have a bill that's before us that I believe has merit, and let's try not to mix and match two separate issues so that we, at the last minute, don't harm a good piece of legislation. Representative Ranglin Vassal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here today just with a comment because this bill that's on the floor, the conversation that's on the floor, is very emotional for me. It's emotional for me as a woman, a black woman with 3 sons. One is 23 and my twins are 21. And every single day that they go out, since they were little, I had to talk to them about how to stand, how to act, how to respond. Every single day when they drive, I tell them, don't drive with your hoodie on. Don't drive sitting backwards like this, or as they go like that. So this is personal for me, and it's emotional for me as well. And I don't know about how many mothers in this room have to have these conversations with their children every single day, but I do. I have to be texting them. When I'm not texting them, I'm talking to them. This is what you do when you are stopped. These are your rights. These are your responsibilities. So I want to make sure we get this right. But I want to also emphasize that for many people that walk around in a black body, this is not just an exercise in theory. This is a practical matter for me. This is something that I say to my sons every day, that every single gray hair that I have, it's because I worry about them when they are driving. And by the way, as a matter of point, not just when they're driving, I worry about them when they are walking. So I just want to put that out there, and I'd be remiss if I did not stand, and not just speaking for my 3 sons, but for poor children, for black, white, poor white children. I'm speaking for all children, but let's make no mistake. Black children and black children and brown children are disproportionately affected by traffic stops. I have stood in my window and I have watched my 16-year-old pulled over right in front of my house. And I've got to educate them. And I don't want to stand and take up all the airtime and to speak, endlessly. But I want to make sure that we get this right. And I want to make sure that all the stakeholders are at the table. And thank you so much for your time.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to point out that in the event anybody believes or think that we're still on the amendment, we're not. The bill is before us, and that's what we need to move forward on. I understand that, we have it. It's passionate. It's burning me up and burning several others up. But this is a good point. The education is key. Had they known, they wouldn't have stood up and spoke on something that's already going south. So let's move the bill and vote up or down. Thank you.
Representative McLaughlin.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I was truly touched by the representatives' concern about his sons. But, I think it holds true for all of us, especially my son. Teenagers go around.
What's your point of order,
Mr. Speaker, while I appreciate what the representative is going for, we are no longer on this amendment or this issue of profiling or the stops. This is on the simple piece of the bill that is before us on Representative McNamara's bill.
I understand, Representative. Hold on. I believe technically you're right, Representative Yuchi, but I'm going to let Representative McLaughlin finish what he started. Proceed, please.
Thank you. You know, as parents, we're all parents, okay? I told my son, well, when he got his license, 16 years old, you don't wear your hoodie over your head, okay? Basically, you don't put your seat back. This is responsibility. It isn't a black or white issue or a brown issue. It's responsibilities of the parents have when they see their kids doing the wrong thing, okay, or not acting like adults, they need to be told. And what you said, you know, hit home, because I don't know how many times I've told my son, get that hoodie off your head, okay, put your seat right, you know, and I understand that, but I think it pertains to every parent in the state of Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Almea.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to pass to Representative Lombardi because of a technical issue. I'm going to let him handle it.
Okay. If Miss Representative Lombardi's light comes on, is Representative Lombardi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Going to be thrown into the fire. I guess that's the way it
thank
works.
Representative Hall for turning your light on.
It's not my first fire, I guess. Pursuant to Rule 70, I will be submitting legislation addressing this issue tomorrow.
Thank you, Representative. We'll have a chat about that at the end of session.
Thank you.
Any other lights? No other lights. We are on the act. There are no lights. Clerk, unlock the machine. All those in favor, please vote green. Those opposed, red. Has every representative in their seat voted? Clerk, lock the machine. 70 in favor, 0 opposed. The act prevails. Next item, clerk.